Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Chelsea Van Buskirk with the Heart AF podcast, where we talk about getting through the hard moments of our life by this journey of self-discovery, looking inward and learning to listen more with our hearts. So welcome back. I wanted to touch on something that I think would be highly relatable. So I had a friend who had an upcoming birthday, and for the birthday, her husband offered her a weekend spa getaway in the mountains, and she had thought to invite me to come with her on this getaway. And initial thought was like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I would love to be able to do that. And insert immediately, who do you think you are to be able to go on a weekend and leave your family behind? Like, why would you think you could do that? There's no way that you could just leave your husband and kids to just have a weekend to enjoy yourself. That does not make sense at all. And what's interesting is there have been times where I've had to leave my husband and kids behind due to an emergency where I had to go take care of my father, or there was some family emergency, right, where it felt that was a justifiable means to be able to leave my kids and my husband behind while I took care of those types of things. But to actually leave for a whole weekend, just leave my family just for purely my own enjoyment, just felt so foreign to me. And I definitely became afraid of that because, on one hand, I desperately wanted to go to be able to have a weekend free from the responsibility of all these other people, to really just have a weekend where I could fully focus on myself and to actually have no responsibilities to worry about except for me and enjoying time with this friend. Seemed like this unbelievable opportunity. So in my head, I start thinking, I don't know, how am I going to be able to go? I want to, but I don't know if it's going to work. And I think my polite response back to my friend in that initial moment was, oh, I need to talk to my husband about it and see what weekend would maybe work best. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Let me know which one works best for your husband and I'll book the room. And some time had passed, and it was later that week. And my friend was like, hey, did you get a chance to talk to your husband about it? And I'm like, no, I did not. But I'll get right on it. I forgot. I remember I delicately approached the conversation with him and just was like, hey, so-and-so's birthday's coming up and she's doing this weekend spa getaway in the mountains and she's invited me to go with her. What do you think about that? Would that work for you if I could go do that? Totally not confident at all. Like a child asking her father if she can go out to a party or something like that. That's how I felt talking to him. But his first response was, how many nights would it be? And I'm like, probably 2, leave on a Friday, come back on a Sunday type of thing. And he's like, oh, like a whole weekend? And I'm like, yeah. And then it just got quiet and I'm like, shit, he's so mad. I'm not going to be able to go and feel good about it. I don't remember how much time had passed, probably not that long as what was building up in my head, but he responded like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do is fine. And I just felt like he was still disturbed about it, but he essentially gave me the okay. And that's how I took it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I told my friend, yeah, either weekend's fine. So we pick a weekend. And I think it might have been the next day. And my husband came back to me and said, just so you know, you don't have to ask my permission to do something like that. And I really appreciated that he took the time to tell me that, because I literally felt like I did. It felt to me, and I talked about this with my friend later, and I feel like it is very hard for women, especially moms or women who have these responsibilities of being the primary caretaker of the household, where you're the one that's running the household. You're in charge of the dinners and your kids and their routines and stuff. So to actually take time off from that responsibility is extremely foreign and feels very wrong. Like, it feels like we're running away from our responsibilities. It feels like it's tainted with this vision women we hear about who run off from their families and run away from those responsibilities and abandon their children. And that's such a deep-seated fear within me, or why I perceive this whole situation in that light, is because my mother did that. To give you a little background story on where I came from and what my upbringing was like, was it kind of started out fine. I was born to these two parents, and when I was 9 months old, my father was injured in a work accident where he became a quadriplegic, losing all ability, becoming fully dependent, not able to use his arms or legs anymore, and was bound to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And my mother was a young mother of me, and I think she stayed in the relationship for maybe 2 years, and by my 3rd birthday, she had taken me and left my father. So it was me and her, and pretty soon she was spiraling into addiction. And more or less, my father thankfully got custody of me by the time I was 5, after a very traumatic early childhood with a mother who was just off the rails and hurt and falling deep into this addiction. So once my dad got custody of me, I didn't really see her that much. And it was a very difficult and painful relationship growing up with having her kind of on the sidelines where I maybe would see her once a year, maybe twice a year if I was lucky. And most of those interactions or visits with her did not go well. And so I do have this deep rooted fear of not wanting to become a mother, not wanting to abandon my kids. I think I saw my mom as being selfish, just choosing drugs over me. I went on to have half siblings and she spent more time with them than I had. And so I was always jealous of that. So there was always this insecurity and the feeling abandoned on one end, but then also this fear of when I'm a mom, I never want to be like that. I want to make sure that my kids know I love them and that they mean something to me and that they're important to me. And so circling back now to adulthood as a mother, I struggle with going on a weekend getaway because it does have that fear that I'm abandoning my kids, even though it's something that is totally normal and it's totally deserving of any caretaker or mother to have some time off because we are on 24/7 a lot of the times with balancing care of our families, not to mention what other businesses or jobs or other responsibilities we may be taking on top of that. It's 24/7, right? No sick days, even when you're sick, like you're still on, right? Like you still have these people that are dependent on you that you have to show up for. So my husband voicing to me that I didn't need to ask his permission to go on this weekend trip was definitely appreciated and helped me see, oh, okay, that's true. He isn't my father. He's my partner. And a lot of that, again, it comes from me and those perspectives that I'm carrying with me. And this is part of that self-discovery process is when we come to these realizations on what's really behind the scenes, what's really going on that's making me act this way or perceive things certain ways. So I think me and my husband, they talked about it a little bit later again, because like I said, when I first was asking him, he did feel a little annoyed and upset that I was telling him I'm going away for a weekend. And he had said to me, just because I'm mad that I'm going to have to take care of all three kids and myself for a full weekend doesn't mean I don't want you to go. Like, I have every right to be irritated that now I'm going to have to do all the things that you do. It doesn't mean I'm going to be mad that you're going. He's allowed to have feelings without it meaning that he doesn't want me to go or that he's mad at me for going. And I felt like that was very important for him to voice to me as well, because that's a good point. He does have every right to get annoyed at the fact that he's going to be a single dad over the weekend when that's not his normal routine. So he doesn't get to have his like Saturday afternoon nap where I keep the kids out of his way, so to speak. And he's actually going to have to be present in all of the moments and feed them. And it's not like that he hasn't done that before, but he knows what that's like when you don't have that extra parent. It is a lot more stressful when you don't have that other person to help you out. So that's why that initial conversation, when I brought it up, he was having this kind of pessimistic response. It really wasn't about me or being mad at me. It was just his own feelings of knowing that it might be a rough weekend. So I thought that was a really good point as well. So the weekend comes, right? I'm so excited. And again, there's still this kind of little seed of guilt, right? It does feel a little wrong. Like I'm basically sneaking out is what it feels like. That's the feeling I get. So I keep trying to tell myself, no, you deserve this. You work hard. You do all the things for all the people in your house. You deserve to have this weekend. Don't sweat it. Enjoy yourself. And so I really did. I really had a wonderful time with my friend. It was very low key. I got to sleep in. I couldn't believe how late I slept in the first day. And it was amazing to just listen to my own self and not have to do anything for anybody else. I could eat when I was hungry. I enjoyed some lovely spa treatments. I could read my book. I could do whatever. So it just was really, really amazing and healing and lots of good conversation with my friend, which I do think is important for females to be able to bond and share just all the things that we struggle with in life because we all have these struggles. And I feel like growing up with other females, like there seems to be this kind of like rivalry type of thing where we feel like we have to be competing with other women. And it really shouldn't be that way. Like really women should be coming together to help lift each other up because there's enough for everyone, right? If one woman gets something doesn't mean that another woman doesn't get it. There's enough to go around, so to speak. And every woman has a right to feel beautiful and feel confident and to enjoy their life without being condemned by other women. It just doesn't make sense to me. And really it should just be about lifting each other up when we can. And I just do think it's important to have strong female bonds just as a part of life. I think it's important to have those kind of connections, especially women that you could feel safe and comfortable with sharing vulnerable things that you may be dealing with or things about your past, or just really having that open communication where you realize you're not alone and you're held and you're fully supported. I think that's important. So enjoyed this weekend, and sounds so horrible. I wasn't necessarily looking forward to come back home because it felt like it went by way too quick. There was part of me that did miss the kids and wanted to get back to them, but at the same time, like I was a little, oh man, vacation time's over, back to my responsibility. And I walk in to the house and it's like full chaos, right? Like obviously my mom wasn't around, so it's just a mess. And my initial reaction, what the fuck? Like, why is the house such a mess? I literally can't leave. Everything just goes astray the second I leave. This is why I don't feel like I can leave, because everything just turns to shit when I'm gone. That's literally my initial reaction. So I'm fuming. I also had woken up that day with kind of an itchy, scratchy throat. Felt like I was probably coming down with a cold. I come home to this mess everywhere. Like the kitchen's a mess. And my husband's napping on the chair, and our youngest, our 3-year-old, is napping. So he's napping with him. But then my older two are just running around the house. They have friends over, and you can tell this mess has been from the first day I left. Like the dishes have been done, nothing. So I'm irritated. The kids had gotten into some of my stuff, and I could see that they were in my room and just no respect for me and my things at all. So I'm just fuming. And it took a while for me to calm down. And I really wanted to be mad at my husband in a way, because I'm like, how could you let all this stuff happen? And why didn't you do the things like I do them? And I really, one, had to check myself, because I have to trust that my husband can do things his own way. He does not have to do things the exact way I do. All the kids were alive, and as far as all important things, like everything was fine. So the house was a little bit messy, not the end of the world. And really, it was come down to some things with my kids and setting some boundaries there where they just got out of control, and me having conversations with them on cleaning up after themselves and things like that, which is, I think, a normal part of parenthood, and especially with these preteen age children who are just, it's a rough age, 3-year-olds too. The other thing that kind of popped into my head was, this is why you can't go anywhere. This is what happens. See what happens when you decide to take time off. It becomes a shitstorm when you get home. You've got all this chaos going on and all these things gone wrong. It's all your fault because you left. That was one of the voices that came circling around. That was a real feeling. And I'm sure this is a feeling that other women might get when they decide to take some time off, or even have a mom's night out or something, whatever. If you leave and something happens while you're gone, you immediately want to take that responsibility, like that whatever went wrong is now your fault because you're the one that wasn't there. Am I right? That's something that we just take on. We feel like we have to take that on, and it just stacks on that guilt that we already felt to begin with. And it just takes that joy or even wanting to take the time off. And I think that is so sad. And it took me a day or two to really reflect on all the things. And I was like, no, I had every right to go and enjoy myself. I had every right to take time off. And it's okay if things aren't going to be exactly how they are when I'm home. That's okay. That is not my fault. Like, it is not because I left is why all these things happened. If I was there, I just would have been there to really hound on my kids. Hey, pick up your shit. Like, I would have been there to be on them to pick up after themselves. So at the end of the day, my husband handled the household to the best that he could that weekend. Honestly, I think it's really just about letting go that control and knowing that if somebody else is stepping in the role that you normally play, like, it's okay to accept that things are going to go differently. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong for not being there. It just means things are going to be different, and it's okay. Like, my house went back to normal pretty soon after, and it opened up a lot of doors for different discussions for the kids and them picking up after themselves without me having to be right there to remind them. Like, my kids need to take some more responsibility with that. And so really at the end of the day, it's totally fine for you to take time off, and you shouldn't feel guilty about taking time off. And even if you do take time off and it's a shitstorm when you come home, it's okay. Don't take on that it's your fault that you left. Okay. I think that's the biggest thing I wanted to get across, is that just because it's not how it would have been if you were there does not mean that it's wrong or that it's bad or that you did a bad thing. It's not like this karmic punishment because you abandoned your kids and now the house is all messed up when you return. I just feel like it's really important to not internalize that and to know that there's nothing wrong with taking some time off. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself. There's nothing wrong with you really just being in the moment and enjoying not having the responsibility of anyone else and being able to focus on just you and your needs. Because all the other times, 365 days a year, 24/7, guess what? You're usually putting your needs last. And it's just really important to be able to take time off and recharge. I'll have to say that now I just need to make sure I plan another one and not just do this once in my life. Like to really make an effort to take time off, not because I'm dealing with a family emergency, but take time off to be by myself or to enjoy a weekend away of just fun and just really focusing only on being responsible for myself, because I think it's needed to really recharge your batteries so you can have a better attitude, and also for people to be appreciative of you too, because I think that we can get taken advantage of quite a bit when people are just used to us doing everything for everyone. And so it's nice to get a better sense of appreciation after we've been gone. And then also, I think it gives us some perspective too on maybe what are some things that we don't really have to be doing for everybody. What are some things that other people need to start taking responsibility for? I think that can be a big wake up call that we realize after some time away too. We can get some new perspective on a lot of different things. Anyway, it's fine to take time off, and not just because things might not go the way you think they should, or whoever is standing in for you, taking care of the responsibilities that you're taking a break from. It's okay if they're not doing the same way that you're doing. As long as everybody's safe, healthy, and all that stuff, no one was in danger, then you're all right. Everything's going to be all right. It's all good, baby. Please let me know if there are any topics you would like to see covered, or if you're interested on being a guest on the podcast. I love collaborating, and I'm really open to whatever you guys want to hear or talk about. Anything that relates to our self-discovery, overcoming challenges we deal with in our everyday lives, managing multiple responsibilities, whether that's home life, business life, your spiritual journey, energy healing. I'm all for it. I hope you guys are all doing well. Find me on Facebook or Instagram at chelsea.vanbuskirk, or you can find me on my website at chelseavanbuskirk.com and let me know what's up. See you guys next week. Peace.